All right, everybody, welcome in. Are you ready to get your hands dirty with some PHP?
Let's do it.
I am so excited for this one. This is like cracking open our web dev survival guide, and this is cool. Our source material is actually structured kind of like a podcast episode.
Oh, okay.
We're going full meta with it.
Love it.
So, to kick things off, PHP, what is it? Why is it such a big deal in web development?
So PHP, it's a server-side language,
Mhm.
which means that it does all of its work on the web server, right? Like behind the scenes.
Okay.
It's what makes websites dynamic and interactive.
So it's not like what we see on the front end.
Exactly. It's all the magic that happens behind the scenes.
Okay.
Think about it. Like when you go to a website and you type in your login info,
Right.
PHP is what takes that information, checks it against a database to make sure you are who you say you are, and then it either lets you in or it doesn't.
So it's kind of like the brains of the operation.
Exactly. It's the brains of the operation.
Gotcha. Okay.
And one of the coolest things about it is you don't even see it, but it's like,
Right.
it's what makes everything work.
It's doing all the heavy lifting.
Exactly.
Okay, so our survival guide here is saying that PHP is super flexible, easy to use, and it plays really well with databases. Tell me why that's so important.
So flexibility, that means you can build anything with PHP. You could do like a simple blog or a huge e-commerce site.
Okay.
And because it's easy to use, both new and experienced developers can pick it up really quickly.
Gotcha.
The database part is key because almost every website out there that does something dynamic needs to talk to a database. Like think about user profiles, or if you have products you're selling, or even just like an online forum.
Right, anything where you need to store data.
Exactly. PHP
Okay.
makes it super smooth to store and retrieve that data.
Hmm.
And like just to show you how powerful it is, Facebook, WordPress, huge sites, they're built on PHP.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that puts it into perspective.
Yep.
Because I feel like a lot of times we hear PHP and it seems kind of like, oh yeah, that's like an older language or something, but it's
Right.
still very, very relevant today,
Oh, yeah.
which is really cool.
It's huge.
Okay, so our guide here's got a bunch of common PHP interview questions. Let's pretend we're prepping for an interview.
Okay.
What are variable?
All right. So variables, imagine like you want to put someone's name on their profile when they log in. You would use a variable.
Yeah.
So you would say like username, and that would
Okay.
store their name.
Yeah.
So then when they log in, the website can say like, welcome back, username.
Oh.
So it
okay.
just stores the information.
It's like a placeholder almost.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
And then we also have arrays. What are those?
So arrays are like containers, but they can hold a lot of things. Let's say you're making a game and you need to store someone's username, what level they're on, their score, all that.
Okay.
An array lets you keep all of that together in one place.
Okay, so it's like a drawer, but it has dividers in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and our notes here say there are different types of arrays?
Yeah, so you have two main types. Indexed arrays, those are like a numbered list, and then associative arrays. Those use keys and values. It's kind of like, think about a numbered to-do list.
Mm-hmm.
That's an indexed array. And then think about a dictionary where you're looking up a definition.
Gotcha.
That's more like an associative array.
That makes more sense. Okay.
You're looking up a specific thing.
Okay, so if you're storing a bunch of stuff that needs to be in order, you use the indexed array. But if it's like, I need to be able to search by this specific thing, you would use the associative.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Cool.
Okay, I feel like this next one trips a lot of people up. The dreaded triple equals
Yeah.
versus the double equals.
Yeah, this gets people all the time.
What's the
Difference.
difference?
Okay, so triple equals, that means you are checking for both the value and the type of data.
Okay.
So it has to be the same number, and it has to be like, is
Yeah.
it a number, is it text? It has to be the exact same.
So it's like if you're ordering a coffee and you say, I want a latte with oat milk, and they give you a latte with oat milk,
Yes.
triple equals.
Exactly.
But if you just say, I want a latte, they can give you whatever kind of milk, it's
Good.
double equal.
That's a good way to think about it.
Hmm.
And the reason triple equals is so important is because it can really save you from some weird errors in your code.
Oh, gotcha.
Because sometimes things get misinterpreted.
Okay, so if you want to be super specific, you use the triple equal.
Exactly. It's better to be safe than sorry.
I like that. Okay. And then we have functions. Our guide here is saying they're like mini programs inside your code. What does that even mean?
Okay, so imagine you have like a chunk of code that you need to use over and over again.
Yeah.
Maybe it's calculating a discount for an online store.
Right.
Instead of writing that code out every single time you need it, you can create a function.
Yeah.
And so a function is basically like a little program. You give it a name.
Yeah.
And then whenever you need to do that calculation, you just call the function by name and it just does it for you.
Oh, so it's like you write it once,
Exactly.
and then you can reuse it as many times as you want.
And it makes your code way cleaner and easier to read, too.
So it's about working smarter, not harder.
Exactly.
I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
And then we have sessions, which sound kind of mysterious to me, like these little messages being passed in the background.
Yeah, so sessions, they're super important for when you're logging in. Let's say you log into a website.
Mm-hmm.
The server creates a session for you, and that stores your login information.
Okay.
And that session is like, it's like getting a little ID card that lets you go to different pages on the website
Okay.
without having to type in your username and password every single time.
So it remembers who you are.
Exactly. It remembers who you are.
Gotcha. Okay.
And the cool thing is, it's much more secure than cookies.
Okay.
Because sessions are stored on the server, not on your computer.
Oh.
So someone can't just like hack into your computer and steal your session.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's all about security.
Okay, so we talked about databases earlier.
Yes.
Our guide says that PHP can easily talk to databases,
Yeah.
specifically MySQL, using either MySQL or PDO. What are those, and why is this connection so important?
Okay, so imagine like a social media site, right? Every post, every comment, all of those are stored in a database.
Okay.
PHP is what lets the website talk to that database
Okay.
so that you can see everything. It's like the translator between the two
Gotcha.
because they speak different languages. MySQL is a specific type of database. It's super popular, and both MySQL and PDO are ways to connect to it.
Okay, so which one's better?
Ah, the age-old question.
Ah.
They both work, but PDO is kind of like the cooler younger sibling. It's got more features.
Okay. Like what?
For example, PDO, you can use it with different types of databases, not just MySQL.
Okay, that's good.
Plus, it's got better security.
Oh, okay. So it's like the more modern way to do it. Okay, I feel like we've been doing a lot of talking. I want to see this in action. Let's build something.
Okay, what are we building?
Our guide is saying that user registration is a classic example of how PHP is used in the real world.
Perfect. Okay, so let's say we have a simple form, for signing up for a website.
Right.
We've got fields for username, email, password, all that good stuff. With PHP, we can take that information when someone types it in.
Mm-hmm.
We can check that it's in the right format. So like, is it an actual email address, things like that.
Okay.
And then we can store it securely in our database.
Oh, wow. So we're taking everything we talked about, those variables, the arrays, the
Mhm.
functions, the database stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and actually using them to build something real.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, when you go into an interview, it's not just about knowing the code. It's about being able to explain it, showing how you think.
Right.
So practice on sites like Code Wars. Check out PHP frameworks like Laravel.
Okay.
Those are great ways to get experience.
And don't be afraid to talk about your code. Like, explain what you're doing and why.
Exactly. Communication is key.
Communication is key. All right. So, listeners, as you continue on your PHP journey, think about this. PHP is behind everything from your favorite online store to massive social networks.
Right.
What kind of mark are you going to make with it?
Ooh, good question.
I want you to think about that. That is it for this deep dive on PHP. Thank you so much for listening, and we will catch you next time.
See ya.